No, you cannot charge $60,000 a year for a magical piece of paper. Welcome to Wine and Chill. I'm Stephanie, and welcome to our May student loan update, which I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I'm filming this on the 31st of May, and hopefully I will also edit this on the 31st of May. Before we get into the proposed student loan reform, let's get into how much I paid last month. So every month I go through how much I'm paying towards my six-figure loans. I poured water today. I was looking in the camera and I was like, why am I still holding this? Because I was thirsty. Much better. Everything is retroactive, so May student loan update will be what I paid in April. So if you're new here, I started my student loan journey on February 14th, 2020 with $304,680.17 trifling cents owed. And no, I did not borrow all that money because somebody always asks. A good chunk of change, which we'll get into later, is interest. Predatory interest. The amount I paid in April was $4,030, which leaves my starting balance as of May 1st at $175,315.97 trifling cents. I'm inching closer towards the halfway mark, which is like 152 or something like that. The Biden administration is ready to erase $10,000 of student loan per borrower in the United States of America. However, there are income caps on there in the proposal, which is $150,000 for a single borrower and $300,000 for a married couple. Now, it's not finalized, which is why it hasn't been announced as of the filming of this video. Now, this is all tentative. A few things as to why I don't think that this plan is going to go through like that. First and foremost, the Department of Education, which if you have public student loans, the Department of Education technically owns your student loans, and then they have federal student loan providers, which are private companies. FedLoan is a private company that disperses the student loan, and that is your student loan servicer. The servicers are private companies. The Department of Education does not have our IRS W-2s easily handy. Some of the service providers do if you've uploaded it of your own fruition. However, most of them don't ask for that information. So the IRS, when they distributed stimulus checks to people, they knew who qualified because the IRS can see based on who files taxes, how much money you make, and therefore if you qualify. The Department of Education has no such database. It would be a huge privacy issue for the IRS to just willy-nilly give all of our information to the Department of Education. They are legally not allowed to do such a thing. So the only way for Joseph Robinette Biden and his team to implement this income cap, which I am not in favor of, would be to have all of us self-identify and submit our information. That will turn into a colossal mess because plenty of people, mostly plenty of poorer people, working class people, do not always submit their taxes every year. It will cause such an operational burden that most people that actually would qualify for this are not going to submit the information for fear, because the Department of Education, has been trifling, that the servicer would come after them and ask for back payment. So I'm going to link a few articles so y'all can read about that. So I don't think it's going to happen. The reason why I'm for no income cap, because who cares? All of the student loan interest is predatory. $10,000 is a drop in the bucket, and we're going to get into the numbers of why $10,000 is not really helping anybody. $10,000, according to the Washington Post article and a few other articles, will wipe out the student loans of only 33% of borrowers, mostly people who started college and due to unfortunate circumstances were unable to finish college. Therefore, the idea of I got the college degree to make more money doesn't even apply to those people. So they are paying predatory interest and the actual student loan all these years when they receive no benefit of the college degree. Now let's go through some stats as to why the number $10,000 is kind of a very rude band-aid. On average, the average student loan borrower in the United States of America owes $39,351. The average Black student loan borrower owes upward of 50 grand. Important, yes, we are going to get into the gender and race dynamics of this because this is definitely a racialized and gendered issue. And if you think it's not, Well, I'm happy to dispel you of that notion. So the average monthly student loan payment is $393. We are currently under the federal forbearance, the federal student loan pause, which has gone on for over 2 years and has honestly really spared a lot of people from paying their student loans so they could focus on buying things like grapes. Because again, with inflation, the cost of grapes are ridiculous. I'm happy to report that for some odd reason, the cost of strawberries have gone down. At least in New York City, the cost of strawberries have gone from $8.99. Yes, I paid $8.99 for some strawberries. I deserve fruit. I work hard. I deserve some fruit. To $4.99 this week. Are they defective? Maybe. Did I eat them? Yes, I did. Graduate degrees? Yeah. I'm going to just link some articles because some of these colleges need to get exposed, specifically the Ivy League colleges, specifically NYU and Columbia Film School. Average grad degree costs upwards of 6 figures. Now, graduate degree is a large term for master's or doctorate degrees. Graduate degree is post-college. The idea of a graduate degree is to specialize in an area and the concept that you should make more money. Most of these graduate programs are money pits. Money pits, specifically NYU School of Film is one such money pit. The article specifically exposing the film school, very interesting. The best filmmakers never went to film school, yet NYU offers their 6-figure graduate degree program. The root cause of this issue is these colleges have realized capitalism will allow them to charge whatever they want. Supply and demand. They have supply. We have all been suckered into going into additional schooling, which education is great. Yes. Not if it costs 6 figures and then I'm working at the local Starbucks. I would say, first and foremost, before we go through this, most people that watch these student loan updates also are fellow debtors. It sounds so awful. And we already owe the money. But if you happen to be on the fence and you're thinking about graduate school, particularly law school, I would say, first and foremost, please look at how much the average person with that degree is making in the field that you're interested in that sector. So if you are paying 6 figures for a degree, that salary better be 6 figures. If not, it is an awful investment and a waste of your money. And with the way interest is set up, it is designed to keep you a debtor for many decades. So with that, here's some stats. Because I have been, since I started this channel, trying to yell this from the rooftops, that law school, unless you know in your heart of hearts and you've always known you want to be a lawyer and you have worked for at least a year as a paralegal, a contract manager in a law firm or in-house, I'm telling you now, law school is not giving what it's supposed to give. So specifically, the average debt for a law school graduate is $160,000. The average salary for a recent grad from law school is, drumroll please, $55,200. I don't know what type of PR these law schools had when they decided to tell everybody, you should become a lawyer. There are more lawyers than active jobs for said lawyers. Yet people think that lawyers out here making cash out the ass. And, while I wish it was true, because then I could pay off my student loans and free myself, it's not. The average salary for an experienced attorney, which I have no idea what they're qualifying experienced as. I guess the aggregate of recent grad must be the first 3 years. Everybody else after that is $127,000. I know a lot of broke lawyers. I am a broke recovering lawyer. I'm not really broke, but Sans student loans, I'm pretty good with my money now. And just to reiterate, my law school amount that I borrowed, not how much I owe, how much I actually borrowed for law school was $218,953. And my first job, full time in the legal field, I made $30,000 in New York City. So we see how the math is not mathing, because how was I ever going to pay back that? Yeah. I think when you just look at the statistics just on their face, it's very easy to assess the problem, which is why I find this entire $10,000 plan very disingenuous, particularly because it's not addressing the interest, which is the big issue. So let's go into some more stats before we get into the interest problem. So not only are these schools charging exorbitant amounts of money and not guaranteeing that you're going to get a good job, They are also not factoring in the gender component. Women across all races in the United States hold 2/3 of the debt. Black women are the most educated demographic in the United States now and have been for the past few years. So per capita, we owe the most money. Yet, if you know anything about pay parity, you know that women across the United States get paid less than men. When you specifically add the race factor next to gender, you start to see the problem. So, Black women earn, on average in this country, 64 cents to every dollar a white man makes. 64 cents, but we have gotten conned into extra schooling to even get in the door to earn less than our white counterpart, to pay back more debt that we had to borrow. Because remember, I said in the beginning, the average amount owed is $39,000, but the average amount owed for Black people is $50K. Black people generally tend to borrow more money to go to school because we don't have the means to fall back on certain things that our white counterparts have. That's just the truth of the matter. Latinas earn an abysmal 57 cents to every $1 a white man earns. Indigenous women in this country earn around 60 cents. And I say around because the stats are a little bit murky there. And that's largely because corporate America does not care about Indigenous women. America in general. Let's keep it a buck. Systemic change would require the United States government to tell these colleges and universities, no, you cannot charge $60,000 a year for a magical piece of paper. 60,000. Fire all of these provosts, these presidents, all these admins in these colleges that literally do no work. They don't teach class. And also to address why Congress announced 2 weeks ago they are upping, not lowering, the interest rates for student loan borrowers. I owe in interest, and this was as of 2019, in interest I owed $54,631.80. It has grown to $75,000 approximately, because I have redone the math. Interest is the problem. Forgiving $10K, if we look at it this way, forgiving $10,000 a loan and not addressing the interest does nothing for people that owe six-figure loans. So, for example, when interest starts kicking in, my daily interest amount is $33.76. The 3 loans that I have remaining, their interest rates are, one is 6.41%, 6.84%, 7.21%, all predatory, all trifling, which comes out to $1,012.80 trifling cents a month, which comes out to $12,153.60 trifling cents in a year. What's the purpose of forgiving $10,000 of the dollars if the interest is not addressed? Next year, I will owe the $10K back again. This is farce and nonsense, which is why a lot of people, particularly leftists, are pushing back. The Debt Collective is also pushing back because without addressing the predatory interest rates, without addressing the predatory cost of college, kids are starting college in the fall. So you're just going to send them to school and be like, well, maybe in another 20 years, we'll figure this out again. What is the purpose of this? Which leads me to the last point that I want to leave everyone with. And the thing that is getting discussed, but not fully discussed. One of the biggest proponents by Senator Warren and Senator Schumer on proposing $50,000 of student loans to be erased is $50,000 will erase the majority of people's student loans. Obviously, I owe way too much, but $50,000 would be a huge service to me. $50,000, what are we at? 175 minus 50, 125. Hey, by the end of the year, I would be well under 6 figures. Amazing. It would erase the majority of people's student loans. And also, it would go a long way in narrowing the racial wealth gap. So if we look back at the numbers again, if the most educated demographic in this country is Black women, we are racking up more money than everyone else to even be allowed to interview for the job. To have people, oh, I don't know, that hair is crazy, oh, this, that, to finally get the job, to go to the job just to be harassed, to be discriminated against, to get treated bad, to make less than mediocre Mike. So this graph by the Brookings Institute shows that Black people overwhelmingly with a college degree make less than white men with no college degree. And it's interesting if you look at it from a lens of like, oh, it's classist and egregious. Work is work. Work is work for sure. But this idea of bamboozling large groups of people into just trying to better themselves to finally have something of their own and then being like, haha, just kidding. You still ain't getting no money. I don't like it. Mind you, I will have you know, because people always are going to say, you don't have to go to college. If you are Black, the studies show already, if you do not go to college, 8 times out of 10, boo-boo, you're getting screwed. It is so sad and so interesting to me. A lot of my friends I went to high school with in Miami that went to college, did the whole college thing, didn't go to law school. I would say law school has afforded me a lot of opportunities. Law school has also kept me in debt and kept me in jobs that treated me awful. A lot of them actually ended up in manager positions in retail or at restaurants, places that you do not need a degree, but places that would have never hired them because their skin is Black if they didn't have a degree. So we're doing all this extra jumping through hoops just to get even a smidge of opportunity, just to get slapped in the face by interest. And I don't like that. So yes, JoJo and I still aren't friends. Not that he cares. And I think that's the root of the problem. Not that he ever really cared. Let me know, how are you doing? What do you think about this proposed 10K? Will it wipe away your student loans? Because there are 33% of people that after this you're done, you're free. And I'm so happy for those people. Honestly, I cannot wait to get there. I have no idea what the feeling will be like to just be like, oh, great, I get to live my life. Which, you know, I have been reclaiming my time, like Auntie Maxine said, and living it a little bit. All right, I'll catch you on the next video.